Oh, good evening. I got Mr. Trips with me over here quietly on the side, and we've got 4th of July Bear by Kathryn Lasky. There is an island waiting for me in a bay in Maine. My mom says it's shaped like a dolphin swimming in the sea, and we can reach it only by a long, slender bridge. I live in the city, and they finally fixed our sidewalk so it's perfect for roller skating. The new pavement is smooth as frosting all the way down to Church Street. My best friend Emily will get to skate here all summer. I won't. The bridge to the island rumbles when we drive across it. There is water all around us, and on the other side of the bridge, there's a tar road, and then the tar turns to dirt. This is where our house will be, says my mom. She's holding a map in the front car seat of the car and turns around to show me. You see? She points to her finger to a piece of land that juts out from the island. It looks like the tail of a dolphin, and our house is where an edge of the tail meets the edge of the sea. I'm not sure if I want to live on the tail of an island, I say. I hear there's a little girl who lives there too. She's probably older. No, I don't think so, my mom says. But I know that even if she is exactly my age and born in the same month, on the same day, and in the same exact minute as me, she won't be as nice as Emily. The tail of the island is called a point, and the point where the house is has trees as tall as castle tops. The house has gray shingles and white roses scrambling up the sides. My bed is small and the ceiling slants. When I go to sleep at night, I miss my room in the city. I'm sleeping on the tail of a dolphin, and my real home seems far away. The strawberries come first, the lady says. Her name is May, and she lives down the road. Then the blackberries, then the raspberries, and finally the blueberries. It is blackberry time now, and we go picking in the field on the other side of the point. Another girl is there with her mother, and I stay close to my mom and sometimes peek at her through the tall grass or from behind my mom's skirt. Picking berries is better than swimming. The water is so cold that after you get out, you shiver for a long time. And then my dad found a place where the water is warmed by the rocks when the tide is high. One day I swam out to a beautiful rock with a notch just the right size for my hand. I call it a catching spot. You can hold on and rest and catch your breath before swimming back to shore. But still, swimming in the rock pool is not as much fun as skating with Emily. We see the little girl from the blackberry field at the post office when we go to get our mail. Her name is Amanda. She is my age, but I'm taller. Our mothers say how nice it would be if we played together, but we both look down at the wooden floor of the post office and curl our toes. She has some pink polish on her big toenail. Then one day there's a scratching at her screen door. Would you like to be a bear? Amanda asks through the screen. A what? A bear, she says again. A 4th of July bear and ride in the parade on the fire engine number 1. My mother told me to ask you. What do they do in a 4th of July parade? I asked. I've never seen one. I've never seen one, I whisper that part down my shirt. People build floats on flatbeds, you know, the kind like floors with wheels, and you hook them onto trucks. Last year we had an old-fashioned schoolhouse float, and I was a schoolgirl with a bonnet and a slate. And one year they wanted a Statue of Liberty, so my cousin Mary was covered with silver makeup, and she wore a crown and carried a torch. Amanda giggles. Mary had to hold up the torch from the fire station all the way around the bend to Beck's store and then back again. Her arm got real tired. I thought a minute about her cousin, all silver and riding on a float with her arm in the air. So, do you want to be a bear with me? She asked again. You don't have to hold anything, just growl. She giggles a little bit more. Maybe. I don't look at her. See you later, she says through the screen door. My dad has come up behind me. That sounds like fun, Becca Bear. Sounds like fun, Becca. Becca Bear. Oh, Daddy. I just wish Emily could be the other bear, but I don't say so. I only think it. The next morning, my mom and I are at the post office where May, the berry lady, comes up and says, I hear you're going to be a bear. Maybe. I just start to say the word, and already she's pulling something out of her pocket. It's a tape measure. I'm the chief bear suit maker on the island, she says, and she measures me right there in front of the post office, writing down numbers on a little piece of paper. Neck to ankle, 38 inches. Shoulder to waist. Shoulder to wrist. Ooh, that was a mistake. Shoulder to wrist, 16 inches. Width across back, 11 inches. Width around head, 21 inches. And when she finishes, she says, I have to go and catch me one more bear. Three times in 1 week I go to May's house so she can fit the costume. Amanda's always there too. We stand as still as we can in the kitchen while many pins and cuts and tucks and trims. You girls can talk while I'm doing this, May tells us, but we don't say anything to each other. Each time she finishes, May gives us both a cookie. We eat them slowly as we walk back to the point, hoping to make the cookies last until we get home. Amanda has to eat even more slowly than I do because she lives further away. Do you ever go roller skating? I asked one day. No. I do. At home, we have the greatest sidewalk in the whole world for roller skating. My best friend Emily and I roller skate all the time. Amanda just says, oh, and looks out at the ocean. Maybe she's trying to imagine a sidewalk there. By the 3rd of July, our costumes are finished. They are made of fake fur with invisible slits to keep us cool. There is stuffing sewn in the front to give us pushy tummies, and the heads have big black glass bear eyes, and we try the costumes on in May's kitchen. Is the fire engine high? I ask. Not too high, Amanda says. Here, have a cookie, and she feeds me through the little bear mouth. I might be a little bit scared, I admit. I've never been in a parade before, and I've never ridden on top of a fire engine either. It's fun, and there's ladders on both sides, and you can't fall off. May finally says, Okay, bears, you're ready. Be sure to wear your bathing suits underneath so you won't get too hot tomorrow. But the next day isn't very hot at all. The wind blows off the ocean, bringing fog. And there is fog in our fur and mist on our whiskers, and the fire engine looks gigantic. This fog will burn off, Fire Chief Haskell says. First he lifts me up onto the engine, and then Amanda. Here are your cubs, Smokey. Smokey is Mr. Eaton, and he seems as tall as a tree in his Smokey Bear costume. He stands between us. He stands between us, and we each grip a ladder with our paws. Fire engine number 1 is third in the parade, just in front of a bunch of kids dressed up like firecrackers. They are wearing painted cardboard boxes and have pinwheels and pipe cleaners and tinfoil whirligig thingamajigs sticking out of their hair. They're all dressed up for the parade, it looks like. The whistle blows, the band starts to play, and the parade begins to move down the hill towards the harbor. Amanda gives a little growl, and then so do I. She waves, and so do I. I can tell she's good at this. There are at least 100 people on both sides of the street, and they cheer, and in the harbor, the boats toot their horns, and the parade goes past the fire station, and then the school, and by the time it gets to the post office, Amanda and I are really good at waving with our paws. Our moms and dads walk alongside the fire truck for a while, until we growl them away. May is standing at the big bend in the road, and right through the tuba's boom, we growl, May! We growl at Pete Hardy, the carpenter who fixed our back door, and at Bobby Williams, the lobster fisherman. And when the parade crosses the causeway over the mill pond, we get a good look at the very front of the parade, where the Grand Marshal and his wife ride in a car with the top down. Mrs. Grand Marshal is very large. She wears a dress covered with hundreds of daisies. Amanda says she looks like Pruity Point, a place near Dolphin's Head that blows all July with daisies, and in August with Queen Anne's lace. Oh, sounds pretty. Chief Haskell is right. The fog does burn off, and by the time the parade is finished, it is hot. My dad buys us ice cream cones, and I drip a little on my fur. I am so hot and sticky, I can't think of anything except swimming. And I remember the rock pool and the catching spot. Do bears swim? I asked Amanda. They must. Let's get our parents to take us to the rock pool. Oh, they're eating ice cream. At the beach, we step out of our bear costumes, fold them carefully, and put them on a rock way above the high tide line so that they will stay dry. Want to know how I always jump? What are you doing over there, CZ? Want to know how I always jump into the water? I say to Amanda. How? Watch. 1, 2, 3. Rebecca Grace Albright, and I fly off the rock. I'm not a bear anymore. I'm me. And then Amanda does the same. The cold water slides over our skin. I'm so glad that I don't have fur so I can feel the sea and the waves, and that my eyes are real and not glass bear eyes. I open them underwater and see the spotted round rocks that look like jewels. I see Amanda's legs and the polka dots of her bathing suit. We swim to the big rock, and I show Amanda the catching spot, and it fits her hand too. We pull ourselves up on the rock, which is crusty with barnacles. My knees get scraped and the salt stings, and Amanda scrapes her knees too. We lick our knees and growl and wave to our moms on the beach. That night, the cold northwest wind wraps itself around the island. I climb back into my bear suit, and I go with my mom and dad to the edge of the point, where the pine trees grow so tall. We sit down, and it's like being in the pine tree castle. Can you find the bear, little bear? My mom asks. She's talking about the star bear, the one they call Ursa Major. Not even a paw yet, I say, but that's not what I'm looking for. There's a loud crackle, a burst of green against the blackness, and from that green center a rat-a-ta-ta of red. A rose explodes into the sky, and there are sprays of gold and silver like the brightest daisies ever. The night blooms with the starry flowers, and each time one burst we say, "Ooh!" Me cozy in my bear suit with the salt air on my face. I think about this island shaped like a dolphin and reached only by a long, slender bridge. There are no sidewalks for skating here, but today I made a new friend named Amanda. Are you asleep, 4th of July bear? I pretend to be asleep for just a second. And then I laugh and jump up. 1, 2, 3, 4th of July bear, I shout. And as the sky explodes with roses, I dance a firecracker dance on the dolphin's tail. Oh, that was a good book.